YouTube and Total War sports fans. It has been a while. Alright. Well, the reason I am in a bit of a hiatus, one, looking for a job is a pain in the ass. Two, my hard drive is actually full, and I recently got myself a very awesome looking external hard drive, so now we're back in business. Let's start this off with a good old Medieval 2 Total War in dedication to Mr. Demi from Total War TV. So we've got here actually this is my personal battle. I am in command of Poland, and my opponent Maximus is in command of Russia, who is going to spawn right over there yonder, near the edge of that cliff. And as you'll see later, he's going to deploy himself right at the edge of that cliff. No idea why he would do that, but I completely thought he would take this nice open space right here. It was weird, but oh well. So looking at my army, I have 6 units of Polish knights, actually, let me correct myself. I have 5 units of dismounted Polish knights, 2 units of mounted Polish knights, 2 units of I have 2 more units of cavalry, 1 Knight's Hospitaller and 1 Knight's Templar. And for my general, I stuffed them in a Polish Guard unit. For the rest of my center line, I have 4 units of Polish nobles. Those are the spear-wielding heavy infantry. Actually, scratch that. I have 3 units of Polish nobles and 6 units of Polish knights. I also have at the front line, screening my army, 4 units of crossbow militia, and even further out are my 2 units of Strzelski. Those are my horse archers. Okay, so now that my opponent has spawned, we're gonna take a look at his army. Right at the front line, we have musketeers, Cossack musketeers, 6 units of them. So he brought some gunpowder with him. 2 units of dismounted Dvor. Those are regularly the horse archers for Russia, but these ones are the dismounted version. Over at his far left, in his infantry line, or heavy infantry line, we have 2 units of dismounted Druzina. At the very center, we have 3 units of Bardish axemen. Those are the ones carrying two-handed axes. They absolutely destroy heavy infantry, so best be careful around them. And 1 unit of spearmen, right at the very right. His cavalry force consists of 3 units. Yes, there's 3. 3 units of Sarsgaard. The very back we have a general's bodyguard unit. Oddly enough, the general bodyguard unit of the Russians seem to be light cavalry for some odd reason. Well, they have light lances, but they kind of look like heavy cavalry. Whatever. And to top it all off, he's got 2 units of Basilisk, which is on this slope, so I don't think it's really going to do him any good positioning them like that. But we have our skirmish fight here. I have advanced my militia crossbowmen forward to begin the skirmish phase of the attack. I've also swung my rightmost militia to be able to target his army from the flank, while my center militia begins its advance. Fortunately, some of the gunpowder units have targeted my Strzelski, and they took some of the gunfire from there. So I kind of saved my militia through that maneuver. However, arrows or crossbow bolts versus gunpowder, it's never gonna end well for me. So it's time to bring out my main, the main force of my army, which are my heavy cavalry and heavy infantry. Now, the beauty about Poland as a faction is that it's a very uncomplicated faction. You really only have two options, essentially Polish knights or Polish nobles, and it's various light infantry. But in a 20,000 20,000 gold pieces or 20,000 point game, you're probably going to be choosing a lot of heavy infantry. And Poland, you don't really have a whole lot of variety to confuse them with. So I maxed out with six Polish knights and supported by Polish nobles. They are the spearmen, heavily armored spearmen, I might add. Very interesting. They seem to be wearing similar armor to the Russian spearmen, but I'm not sure how they would fare against them. In the game, the campaign, Polish nobles are pretty okay as heavy infantry. They're also pretty common as heavy cavalry. At least they're pretty generic in terms of the mercenaries when you play the campaign. So my opponent is kind of reshuffling his line, and I've taken this opportunity to make a bit of a blitz against this army while they are still shuffling them around. So my army is in battle order already, so I have taken them and rushed them forward to possibly catch my opponent off guard while he's still messing around with his army. With blitz tactics, you have to be able to work hard, so I have work pretty fast. So I've taken a unit of mounted Polish knights and slammed them right on the right or left flank of the Russian lines in order to support my Polish knight advance. So the Polish knights are now being bogged down, unfortunately, by some of the axemen, by the Bardish axemen. They're going to bite the dust, just because those axes are fairly adept at taking out heavily armored units. I'm not too sure what kind of upgrades my opponent brought, but if those Bardish axemen have the same upgrades as mine isn't going to last too long. The Basilisks are doing pretty good job working their magic on the battle. Unfortunately, they're killing more of his own guys than mine, so it's actually causing my opponent's units to rout, and the dismounted Druzina have already routed, followed by a chain rout here in the left flank, and some of the Cossack musketeers are now running. Very nice. I've also taken my my spare Polish knight and slammed them onto some of the reserved lines here, where there's actually a unit of crossbow militia from Russia here. I didn't see that. So there's a unit of crossbow militia here, and I slammed my knights right into them. Fortunately, my Russian opponent has countered with his Tsar's Guard, so they are now bogged down. I have not committed all my center forces yet, because I see that my opponent still has reserve lines on his right flank. And let's see, there's a big fight right now in the center, and my opponent has committed more of his cavalry into the fight to give it a bit of a push. These are his Tsar's Guard. and they're joining in the fray. The main body of my effort is now consist of my mostly consist of my Polish knights, and now I am starting to activate the rest of my army. I'm swinging my nobles around on my right flank in this opening that I've created from my Polish knights, my mounted Polish knights. And they are starting to outflank the center, and that proved very strenuous on the Tsar's Guard, and they have routed. And when the Tsar's Guard began to rout, there seems to be a chain reaction happening, and the infantry line in the center fight has begun to crumble. Activating my Knights Templar, I went in for a flanking charge, but seeing that the center doesn't really need any of their help, I swung around and hit some of these Cossack musketeers that were firing at me. Alright, so safe to say the battle on my right wing is in my favor, as well as the center. And now the center is going to fold and start to roll up on my opponent's remaining wing, which is essentially the reserve line. Now my Polish knights have done a darn good job pushing these reserved lines at the Russian left, all the way back down these hills, or just this one hill. And since my knights have been decimated, my Polish nobles came in to clean up after them, and that caused my nobles to get the upper hand due to the terrain advantage. A second group of nobles have also swung around to hit these basilisks so they would stop firing, because they were kind of getting annoying, especially since now my units have begun to kind of converge into this giant clump. I really don't want those basilisks to be firing anymore. They were kind of fun to mess around with in the beginning, since he was killing more of his guys than mine because of bad positioning. Seriously, who puts artillery in the bottom of a hill? You put them on top of a hill, not at the bottom. Anyway, I have also activated another unit of cavalry. These are the remains of my Knights Templar, and I decided to charge them headlong into a reserve line to keep them from activating early. That will keep them busy. It's mostly to keep them busy. I have intercepted this unit of Tsar's Guard from Russia, who were trying to outflank my units. And I used my general unit to do so, and also one unit of what's it called? Is this a Polish Guard? No, Knights Hospitaller. So the Knights Hospitaller and the Polish Guard have intercepted one unit of Tsar's Guard. Alright, so we still have dismounted Duvors here, firing at my clump of units. Fortunately, I have a lot of crossbow militia still surviving. In a bit of a desperation attempt, because I see that my Templar Knights are starting to die, I decide to commit my Strzeltsky, who are out of ammunition, I believe, to charging the reserve line and bogging them down even further. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long, but it bought time for my general unit and the Hospitaller Knights to clean up the unit of Tsar's Guards that they intercepted before, and now they have charged into the reserve line, and now Russia has no reserve line because now they're being bogged down by my reserve cavalry. And without his reserve line, his center line is going to crumble now. Or he never really had a center line. What's left of his right flank is now going to crumble from the weight of my center wing. Yep, it's just one general push now for my center units. No finesse, they've already destroyed any opposition in the center. So Russia doesn't have any more units left to do anything. So yeah, it's just one final push now for Poland. Let's see. How's my general doing? My general is currently busy dying, and he's doing a pretty good job with it, going up against the enemy general bodyguard. Yeah, the thing about the general bodyguard, they have double the life expectancy, double the hit points of regular units. And Polish guards aren't really general units, so they're just elite cavalry. Up against bodyguard units, they're not gonna last very long. But fortunately, my right wing actually, who is working their magic behind enemy lines, have swung all the way around this huge fight over here and split up into two groups. One went to save my general, or not, or attempted to save my general, and the other one went for a hammer and anvil strike. And that caused those Russians to go bye-bye. So now we only have the Russian general to worry about, and a unit of dismounted Duvors. And my own general's dead, so you know, he's not gonna be taking part in this. There goes the enemy general. He's dead too. We are both dead, but our armies are celebrating because they've won anyway. Yep. Nobody cares about the general. There we go. Maximus has admitted defeat, and this is the score. Alright. Alright, good game to Maximus. And hopefully I'll be able to get back to making more videos in the future. Now that I have my awesome external hard drive. Alright, see y'all next time.